Hey everyone, it's Emily. In this video, I'm going to show you how to make a garland with beads that are made out of air dry clay. Let's get on with the video. The first thing you want to do is that you want to lay out a piece of plastic wrap, and this is where the clay will be placed to dry. Now you can start making the beads, and you want to start by rolling a piece of air dry clay into a ball. Then you want to take a toothpick and insert it into the ball and move it around until you have a big enough hole to run the twine through it. If you need to, you can repeat the same step on the other side so the holes are the same size. You can also put water on the clay to fix anything you don't like, and you can roll it in between your hands again, but make sure you don't lose the hole. When you're done creating the bead, you want to place the whole of the bead on the plastic wrap. If you need to, you can press it down a little bit so it doesn't roll, but don't press it down too much because it will be too flat on one side and you may lose the hole. All you have to do now is to continue making as many beads as you want, and I do recommend making more than what you need because the holes may be too tiny or they may be gone. I made 43 beads. When you're done, you can go back and make sure you didn't lose any holes and fix them if needed. Once you like how all the beads look, you can wait for the clay to dry. When it's dry, you can paint the beads, but you don't have to. I did put the beads on a pencil so it was easier to paint them, but you can paint them however you would like. Once you're done painting a bead, you can lay the bead on a piece of tinfoil to dry. When the paint is dry, you can water down another color of paint, and you can test it by pulling back the bristles of the paintbrush with your finger and letting them go on a test bead or a scrap piece of paper. If you like how the paint looks, you can pull back the bristles of the paintbrush with your finger and let them go towards the beads. This will give a paint-splattered look. Also, you want to make sure you have a large area covered because the paint will go everywhere. When the paint is dry, you can flip each bead over, and you want to repeat the same steps again to get the rest of the bead covered. Then you want to wait for the paint to dry. When the paint is dry, you can run the twine through the beads, and you want to wait until later to cut the twine because you want the twine to be longer than the length of the beads, and you will also need some extra twine for the tassels. If you're having trouble getting the twine through the beads, you can put tape on the end of the twine, and you may need to trim and replace it after a few beads. You also don't have to use all the beads. I only used 40 out of the 43 beads because the holes were too small. When you're done putting the beads on the twine, you can cut the twine, but make sure you leave enough on both ends to tie the tassels on. Then you want to tie a knot next to the last bead on both ends of the twine. The knots will hold the beads in place while you're tying the tassels on. Now to make the tassels, you want to start by wrapping twine around a piece of cardboard that measures to the length that you want your tassel to be about 15 times. My piece of cardboard measures 4 by 2 inches. Then you want to cut the twine you are wrapping with. Then you can take another piece of twine and tie it where you want the top of the tassel to be. When you're done, you want to cut the twine where the bottom of the tassel is, and this will cut the twine off of the cardboard and create the bottom of the tassel. Then you want to take more twine and place a loop over the tassel. After you place the loop over the tassel, you want to wrap it around the tassel about 10 times. Once you're done wrapping the twine, you can cut the twine you are wrapping with. Then you can take the twine you are wrapping with and pull it through the loop. Then you can pull the end that's connected to the loop to make a knot. Once you're done creating the knot, you can trim both ends of the knot, but not too short because the twine may come apart. The last thing you want to do for your tassel is that you want to trim the end of the tassel to make it more even. Then you want to create another tassel and make it the same size. When you're done making the tassels, you can tie a tassel onto each end of the garland. You want to do this by tying the tassel on the twine with the beads, and then you want to tie a piece of twine from the tassels onto the twine with the beads. You can keep switching which piece of twine you're tying on until the tassel no longer moves and it's secure. Then you can trim the twine from the knots, but not too short so the twine won't unravel. The last thing you want to do is that you want to repeat the same steps for the other tassel, and if you're worried that the twine will come undone, you can put a small drop of hot glue on the knot to prevent it from coming undone. That's how you make this garland. In the comments down below, let me know what you think about this DIY. And if you like this video, subscribe to see more videos. I'll see you in the next video. Bye!